Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a story that sounds like it's straight out of a Hollywood script, but it's a very real-life drama involving one of the most respected actresses of our time, the incredible Cate Blanchett. This isn't a tale from a movie set, but from the world of high-stakes real estate and business, and it involves betrayal, big money, and a partner who allegedly tried to pull a fast one on her. So, let's set the scene. Back in 2004, Cate Blanchett and her husband, Andrew Upton, decided to invest in a major real estate project. They were living in Sydney, Australia at the time. They partnered with a property developer named Richard Walsh and another investor, Joseph Horacek. Together, they formed a company with a grand vision: to transform a historic but neglected waterfront property in Sydney's Birch Grove into a stunning, eco-friendly luxury apartment complex. The property itself was a former industrial site with incredible potential, boasting amazing views of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. The plan was ambitious. They wanted to create something truly special, a blend of historical preservation and modern sustainable living. Cate and Andrew weren't just silent partners. They were actively involved in the creative direction. They envisioned a development that would be a landmark of good design and environmental consciousness. The project was valued at millions of dollars, and with Cate Blanchett's name attached, it naturally attracted a lot of positive attention. Everything seemed to be heading in the right direction. The team was assembled, the plans were drawn up, and the future looked bright. But as we all know, in business, things aren't always what they seem. Behind the scenes of this glamorous project, a different story was beginning to unfold. The first signs of trouble began to surface a few years into the project. The development process was slower than anticipated, which isn't entirely unusual for such a complex undertaking. However, financial discrepancies started to raise red flags. According to court documents and reports from that time, Cate and Andrew started to become concerned about how the project's finances were being managed by their partner, Richard Walsh. They suspected that funds were being mishandled and that the project's accounts weren't adding up. Their suspicions led them to dig deeper. They commissioned their own financial review to get a clear picture of what was happening with their investment. What they reportedly discovered was shocking. It was alleged that their partner, Mr. Walsh, had been secretly siphoning money from the development company for his own personal use. We're not talking about small amounts here. The claims involved hundreds of thousands of dollars being funneled away from the project and into his own pockets. Imagine making a huge investment, pouring your heart and creative energy into something, only to find out the person you trusted to manage it was allegedly betraying that trust. The allegations were serious. It was claimed that Mr. Walsh had used the company's funds to pay off his personal credit card debts, cover his own home mortgage, and even pay for private school fees for his children. These were funds that were supposed to be building the luxury apartments, paying contractors, and moving the project forward. Instead, it seemed they were being used to fund a personal lifestyle. For Cate and Andrew, this wasn't just a financial blow. It was a profound breach of trust. They had entered into this partnership in good faith, believing everyone was working towards the same goal. Faced with this alleged deception, Cate Blanchett and Andrew Upton had a choice to make. They could try to handle it quietly behind the scenes, or they could take a stand. They chose to fight back. In 2011, they, along with the third partner, Joseph Horacek, decided to take legal action. They took Richard Walsh to court, suing him for the money he had allegedly taken from their joint venture. This decision turned the private business dispute into a very public legal battle. The case went to the New South Wales Supreme Court, and the details that emerged were fascinating. The legal proceedings laid bare the inner workings of the partnership and the alleged trail of deceit. Lawyers for Blanchett and Upton presented evidence detailing the unauthorized transactions and financial mismanagement. They argued that Walsh had systematically exploited his position of trust to enrich himself at the expense of his partners and the project itself. It was a classic case of alleged corporate misconduct, but with a world-famous actress at its center, it captured the public's imagination. The court battle was undoubtedly a stressful and draining experience. Legal fights are never easy, and this one involved complex financial records and a high-profile plaintiff. Cate Blanchett, known for her poise and professionalism on screen, now found herself in the middle of a real-life courtroom drama. She had to attend hearings and have her business affairs scrutinized in public. But she and her husband were determined to see it through and hold their former partner accountable. So, what was the outcome of this dramatic legal showdown? In the end, the court sided with Cate Blanchett and her partners. The judge found Richard Walsh liable for breaching his duties to the company. It was a decisive victory. The court ordered Walsh to pay back a substantial sum of money to the company. Reports at the time stated the figure was around 1.5 million Australian dollars, which included the money he had misappropriated plus interest. The judgment was a clear vindication for Cate and Andrew. It confirmed their suspicions and held their former partner accountable for his actions. Justice was served. But the story doesn't quite end there. While they won the legal battle, the whole ordeal took its toll. The development project, which had started with such high hopes, was irrevocably damaged by the dispute and the financial chaos. The dream of creating that beautiful, eco-friendly apartment complex never came to fruition in the way they had originally envisioned. The property was eventually sold off in 2013. While they managed to recover their initial investment, and then some from the sale, the grand creative vision was lost. It's a bittersweet ending. On one hand, they successfully fought against injustice, and won. On the other hand, the project they had poured so much passion into was a casualty of the conflict. It's a powerful reminder that even for someone as successful and influential as Cate Blanchett, business partnerships are built on trust, and when that trust is broken, the consequences can be devastating. So, what can we all learn from this incredible story? First, it's a masterclass in the importance of due diligence. No matter who you're going into business with, and no matter how exciting the project is, it is absolutely crucial to have rigorous oversight and transparency, especially when it comes to finances. Never give anyone unchecked control over the money. Regular audits and clear, transparent accounting are your best friends in any partnership. Second, it shows the courage it takes to stand up for what's right. It would have been easy for someone in Cate Blanchett's position to try and sweep this under the rug to avoid the negative publicity of a court case. But she didn't. She and her husband chose to pursue justice, not just for their own financial interests, but on principle. They sent a clear message that this kind of behavior is not acceptable. Their actions serve as an inspiration for anyone who finds themselves in a situation where they've been wronged in a business deal. Don't be afraid to fight for what you are owed. This whole saga really pulls back the curtain on the world of celebrity business dealings. We often see the glamorous end results, the successful companies, the blockbuster movies, but we rarely see the risks, the challenges, and the betrayals that can happen along the way. Cate Blanchett's experience shows that fame and success done to make you immune to these problems. In fact, it can sometimes make you a bigger target. But it also shows that with determination, integrity, and a good legal team, it is possible to fight back and win. It's a fascinating slice of her life that goes beyond the red carpet and the silver screen, revealing a savvy and resilient businesswoman who was not afraid to protect her investment and her integrity. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive today. I hope you found this story as compelling as I did. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next story. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever heard of this story before? What do you think about how she handled it? Let's get a conversation going. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.